guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, Caleb and I are going to do a little self-care kind of video, I guess. I originally was going to do like a full, like all-encompassing self-care video, and then we filmed the part that you're about to see and it was like 1,000 minutes long, and I realized that I'm going to have to split this up into 2 videos. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about baking and cacao ceremonies, which are 2 of our favorite forms of self-care. As you can probably see, we already did the baking. Caleb's eating one right now and they turned out really good. So for the video, we are going to bake some vegan chocolate chip banana bread muffins, which turned out super yummy, while we let you guys in on all the info that you need to know about cacao ceremonies, how to make it, why you should do it, how to do it.
Caveat, not professionals.
Not professionals, this is just what we know, just what we do. We will link a bunch of information down below. So let's just get into it. We planned to do this during Archer's nap, but obviously here he is. By the time we got everything set up, he was awake, so he's gonna be part of the video and hopefully won't scream or cry or anything. So yeah, we are gonna bake banana bread. I feel like baking is a form of self-care for a lot of people. It's just really relaxing. I used to hate baking mainly because I hated doing dishes, but we recently started using our dishwasher and I feel like we bake 10 times more.
Far more willing to bake.
Yeah, now that we use the dishwasher, we have been making a new dessert every single day since we've been in quarantine. I feel like it's just a really fun way. Like, we love trying new recipes. I get pretty much all of our recipes on Pinterest, and if you follow us, you know that we always bake vegan, and most of the time it's also gluten-free and oil-free. So these are all vegan, gluten-free, oil-free. Not these all. This recipe. I can't talk. This recipe.
Doing great.
Did I even say we're making banana bread? We're gonna make banana bread. I feel like everybody's making banana bread in quarantine. It's like a thing. We're gonna film another video doing like 3 of our favorite quarantine dessert recipes, I think, that aren't banana bread, but I figured this would be a good time to do a banana bread recipe because we have these really nasty bananas that are like falling apart, and we have 3 of them.
She says nasty, I say perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to say but like, it's perfect. A banana you're not gonna eat like it by itself. It's
right, it's at its sweetest.
Yeah, it would be good for like banana ice cream or a smoothie or something, but not good to just eat it. So we're gonna make banana bread, and while we bake banana bread, we're gonna talk about cacao ceremonies. That's the other thing that we love to do for self-care. We've been doing them for like a year now, maybe
a little longer. Yeah,
maybe a little longer. Caleb is the one that kind of started doing the research on them and was telling me about it, and then we started doing them, and we don't do them as much as we like because you obviously need the time and like the quiet to do them, and with a baby that's not the easiest thing. But as we bake the banana bread, we're going to kind of talk about cacao ceremonies and why and how, and when we're done baking the bread, we're going to show you how we make our cacao. And yeah, I guess I've babbled on enough, so let's just get into it. So we're gonna seriously be multitasking here because I'm gonna try to follow this recipe and make the bread. We have this baby, then we're also gonna talk about cacao, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm not gonna like go step by step through the banana bread, but I'm gonna put the recipe down in the description box, and hopefully it turns out good. This is a recipe we've never tried before, so we'll have to see.
Alright, massive disclaimer, I am not an expert in cacao. Probably not even a novice, but the tradition is thousands of years old. Central America. Cacao is called the food of the gods. Like, it gives you any indication of what this could be. So the purpose of it is to basically allow you to focus intent. So I don't know how many of you meditate or anything like that, but cacao ceremonies can be a great way to focus intent while meditating. So as you're making everything from buying cacao,
Sous Chef threw up on the bananas.
all over that banana. So everything from how the cacao is grown and hand-picked, it's all basically focusing intent on this product. So we use ceremonial grade cacao. Cacao can differ, depends on what's done with it, how it's produced.
We get this one from Thrive Market. I'll show it like a little more in detail when we actually make the cacao, but I can link it down below if you guys want to get it.
Yes, so this one comes in little wafer form. There are like powders and nibs and obviously all different kinds of cacao, but these cacao wafers are nice because they're uniform, so you can kind of find a ratio of cacao to like water or almond milk or whatever you use to mix it with. Cacao is highly regarded for promoting heightened sensitivity and feelings of euphoria. Just take everything with a grain of salt, because it's not like you're gonna drink this and all your worries are just gonna be gone. A grain of salt.
Just put salt in my hand.
It doesn't, there's no psychoactive effects. It's not like taking mushrooms or LSD or something. You're going to be transported to a meditative state. It's more like the way we use it. I mean, I guess some people would argue that you can, but...
If you ever watch Grace and Frankie, when Frankie does her cacao ceremony, she like gets all kinds of crazy.
Yeah. When you're preparing this, it's important to have the intentions you want to get out of this. So a lot of the times I'll focus my energy on, like, patience is a big one that I use. What's another one?
I know we did one, the last one that we did was like 2 days before he was born. Do you remember that? We sat in his nursery and we were both just feeling a little, I don't know, like you were at a job you didn't like. I was feeling anxious about still being pregnant, and we just really wanted to focus on like being grateful and being like so getting in the right headspace to welcome this life into the world and like attract the future that we want. I feel like that's something that a lot of times I focus on, is like being grateful for what I have, but also like having faith in the fact that if I work hard, then I'm gonna get where I want to be. So I think that we were both, when I remember that specific one, when we were like, okay, let's like sit on the floor in his nursery. I think I was 39 weeks and change, and I was like, I'm so freaking ready for this baby to be here, but we were also so scared for the baby to get here, because obviously we've never had a baby before, so we didn't know what to expect. And like I said, Caleb was at a job that wasn't what he wasn't something that you were enjoying in life. It wasn't fulfilling at all. And we just have this, you know, vision for our life that we want, but we were just feeling really lost and feeling like maybe it like was never going to happen, a little hopeless. So I think that it can also be a good time to like, you can just like sit and like imagine and really like use law of attraction to like attract this, you know, I don't know, like.
Yeah. I would say just like change your headspace.
Yeah, and just
feeling
be like
in a negative rut, so it's
so it helps to
your way out of it.
To get positive and be like, okay, like this, I don't know, this is why I had him talk about it, because I'm not good at putting this kind of thing into words. But I feel like we were feeling negative about it, so we were able to like focus intently on being positive about the future and knowing that like it was all going to work out.
I think cacao ceremonies are great for people who don't have any experience meditating, because it's a way that it's something to do. Like most people think when you meditate you're just sitting there trying to be in the moment doing nothing, but it's actually good to have something to focus yourself on, I think, so you can be in that moment better.
I think it's also good, like I don't do well with guided meditations like apps and stuff where they're like, okay,
I get
focus
distracted
on this. I get distracted, and I find that I'm focusing too much on focusing, that I'm like not actually doing anything. They're like, focus on your breath, and then I'm just like
I'm
like
focusing on them telling me to focus on my breath.
Yeah, so that's why I was never good at meditating, because I was always doing like the guided ones, which just, I think they're great for a lot of people. They just don't work for me because I got too distracted.
To start, I mean, obviously we'll go through making it, but as you're making it, you want to be focusing on what you're trying to, I don't know, change your headspace into, what you're trying to focus on. So you have that intent in your mind the whole time, and you're trying to put it into this product that you're making. What I do is focus my intent as a lot of times we'll put on like some meditation music on the TV or a phone or something, just to kind of bring everything together.
I can link, we usually use YouTube, so I can link some of our favorite YouTube channels for that kind of music too.
Yeah, I listen to them in the morning too, when I'm up early with this little dude. Let's say you have your cup, your mug of cacao. We sit on the floor, you can sit wherever you want, stand, do whatever. Find your own way, that's the best thing. But I'm rambling, so I'll take the mug, I'll focus my intention. So what am I trying to get out of this? Do one thing at a time. Do it for as long as I can focus on it. Once I find myself drifting in thought, I'll stop and take a few sips of the cacao, focusing on the sips and the taste, how it feels, you know, entering my mouth. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it spicy? And then feel it going all the way down into my stomach. And once I feel like I've kind of refocused my attention, I guess is the word I'm looking for, refocus my attention, I'll think about either that same intent or a different one, depending on how I feel. And it really is just kind of trial and error. Find the ceremony that works for you. Find your own, make it your own, so that it really can reset yourself.
And don't give up after the first time, because I feel like the first time we did it, I was just like,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
I didn't even know what you're supposed to do.
Because I hadn't really meditated before. I mean, I tried and I just always got way too distracted. So I remember the first time we did it in our old apartment, we were just like sitting on the floor in our living room, and I just like wasn't sure what to do, and I always felt like I was doing it wrong. I feel like that's a lot of people's problems with meditation, is they feel like they're doing it wrong, so then they just stop. When there's no right way to meditate, you just have to figure out what works for you and how you can like settle your mind enough to focus on something but also not focus on something, which can get really confusing. So I remember the first time I did it, I was like, I don't know if this is for me, because I just like, yeah, this tastes good, but like, is it really doing anything? And then we did it a few more times, and I realized like how my mind is different to like let go and figure out how to focus on stuff, but not, are you just sucking? Figure out how to meditate for yourself, because I think that's the problem with meditation apps too sometimes, is it just assumes that everybody's mind works the same way. So don't give up if you don't feel like you can figure it out the first few times, because I feel like that's a big part of meditation, is it's really personalized, so you have to like keep doing it until you figure out kind of like the flow that works for you.
When I was researching a lot of this too, a lot of people have like very specific things that you're supposed to do, and there's supposed to be a traditional way to do it, but the common thread was that you're supposed to focus whatever you are intending into this. So as long as you're doing that, I think it's a cacao ceremony. If you're not doing that, you're probably just drinking hot cocoa. Which could also be a form of self-care, though. There's no right or wrong way to do this. If you want to watch Friends and drink a cup of this stuff. Because
cacao is great for you. It's really good for energy. It's a good natural energy boost if you don't like or want to drink coffee or tea. And like, it's not, if you just do the wafers, the only ingredient in it is 100% cacao, so it's not like full of a bunch of sugar. You can obviously sweeten it if you want to. You could add like maple syrup or agave, or like cayenne pepper, Caleb likes to add, which obviously we'll show you all that. And then we also have this like easy just cacao mix with mushroom in it. It has reishi mushroom in it, and it's for like to help you chill out. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but most of the time it's good for your body too, so it's not like...
Also, if you don't know what cacao is, it's unprocessed chocolate essentially.
Yeah.
So
with no additives.
Right. Chocolate industries have kind of changed the way chocolate is. It's not full of sugar and all kinds of additives.
Okay, so the muffins are in the oven, and we brought you in a little closer to show you the cacao. The baby's on the floor, so I might have to, I mean, not on the floor, he's in his bouncer, but he's down there, so we might have to, you know, be parents if he starts getting upset. But I'm gonna show you how do we make our cacao. I first just wanted to mention this Four Sigmatic mushroom cacao mix, because do you like this one? So it's by Four Sigmatic. It's a mushroom cacao mix. It has reishi mushroom in it, and it's all like completely pre-made. It's just a little packet, so it's way easier if you don't want to like have to do what we're about to show you how to do,
or if you don't have time.
Yeah, and it tastes really, really good, but that is the only thing, is there is additives in it. It's all healthy, so it's all organic, cacao powder, palm sugar, reishi extract, cinnamon, cardamom, and stevia. So it tastes really good. It's pretty sweet, kind of just tastes like hot chocolate, but it is nice that it has the benefit of the mushroom adaptogens in it.
Awesome.
I won't get into all the benefits of mushrooms, because then this video will literally be like a day long. But I just wanted to mention this because this is one we really, really like, and it's super easy because it just comes in a little packet. And I do have a discount code with Four Sigmatic, not sponsored, but it's Consciously K. I don't know what the discount is, but if you go on the Four Sigmatic website and you type in Consciously K, it'll get you some sort of discount. So I just wanted to mention that before we get into the complicated stuff, which really isn't that complicated. It's just like, it's more work than your average hot chocolate. So
it's really just unflavored almond milk, unsweetened, unflavored.
We're pouring these into mugs.
I typically, just to save on almond milk and just so it's not as rich, I will do half almond milk, half water. So I just filled one of our mugs all the way up with almond milk. And
we each have one of these big mugs.
A lot of people like their cacao to be piping hot, but I don't really. I like it warm, so I'll heat the milk up all the way just to melt the cacao nibs, but then we'll add that second part water after I make it, just so it cools it down a little bit.
So we just have it in a pot. Just poured all the almond milk in the pot. I'm just gonna warm it up on the stove. Don't know why I said stove like that.
And I don't get it boiling, but I'll get it pretty close so that it's hot enough to melt all the cacao and kind of mix everything nicely.
Which was also a learning process. The first time we made this, we tried it with just like putting the milk and the wafers in the microwave and hoping they would melt and mix it up, and it wasn't. It was super chunky. So I think that's also a reason I didn't do well the first time, is because my drink did not taste good. It was so chunky, and I didn't sweeten it with anything either, because I don't really like sweet drinks. So it wasn't necessarily like the bitterness that bugged me, but it was like chunky and not sweet. So it was just weird.
Yeah, it's pretty
weird. I definitely recommend making it like this because it gets really smooth and is essentially like you're using one of these super simple packets, but you can control everything that goes in it. We just had a little poop situation, so I'm gonna go change a diaper and I'm gonna leave Caleb here to explain a little bit to you.
He's pretty pumped about him pooping himself. Right. So, blender. This specific brand, I kind of weighed one wafer with a scale because there's a lot of recipes online. I just found a bunch of them. I forget what these ratios are now, but I worked it out to be about 10 to 12 of these little wafers per however much we can fit in these mugs. So you're just gonna have to do some ratios. Like we said, the first few times I did this, it was awful. So work it out, find what works for you. I'll show you one of these wafers up close. It's really just a thin little coin. Counted out 20 wafers here. I'm gonna throw them in the bottom of the blender. Bottom of the blender. I use cayenne pepper, and I'll just do like a little, just to make sure there's a little bit of bite there. And obviously this is eyeballed. You can find a recipe. I got just a splash of cinnamon as well. These kind of just add a depth of flavor. Otherwise it's just kind of one note. And then a pinch of sea salt. Again, just to add kind of a depth of flavor, because this cacao is bitter, like we said, and very strong. And then just maple syrup, 100% maple syrup. This is just going to be like a little shot. Beautiful. So you could just do like the almond milk or water or whatever you're mixing it with. Mix it in the blender and then add the spices later to your mug if you and whoever you're doing this with like it different. But we're just going to go the same today. So I'm going to blend this until it seems like everything's mixed together well. I don't hear any more rattling around. Looks pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Smells pretty good. You'll be able to smell. Very chocolatey. Alright. So I'm going to attempt to pour about half of this in each of these mugs. Got about half and half. And then, like I said, I'm going to top these off with water just because I don't like mine ripping hot. I don't think you do either, do you? We're
pretty impatient, so like if you want to make it and drink it and do your ceremony right away, then... A lot of the experts would say this is absolutely the wrong way to do it. You're supposed to drink it piping hot so that you take the time to appreciate it more. A lot of coffee snobs I know feel the same way. Not that you're a snob, but if you feel that way, I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I also think as parents though, like now that we do it with a little amount of time, we have to kind of do it as best we can, and you know, the little maybe 20 minutes that we have to do it, it would take 20 minutes for it to cool off enough for us to really drink it. So I'm going to top these off with just our water purifier on our tap. Try to nice and frothy. Yeah. Also, these mugs are from Home Goods. They're like the size of maybe 2 cups or 3 cups, which is really nice because you feel like you're only drinking 1 cup of cacao or coffee when really you're drinking a lot. And then I like to just take a sip before I start the ceremony. That way if I need to add anything, I do so before we sit down and get all settled in. So there you have it. This is probably too hot for me, I think. So that is how we make our cacao. I can put kind of like a recipe down below, just the ingredients that we use, but we don't, like you saw, we don't like measure anything specifically. It's good to measure it to your mug, which works out really well. And there's also a lot of recipes online, so if you search for a cacao recipe, especially one using wafers specifically, then that's an easy thing to do. And yeah, I hope this part of the video is not too long, but I feel like these are 2 things that, you know, well, I guess the banana bread didn't really need a lot of explaining, but cacao like deserves a lot of explaining, and I had a few questions about it because I mentioned it in my March favorites video, I think it was. I mentioned this cacao mix, and some people asked me about cacao ceremonies, so I wanted to really get in depth and explain this to you guys. I think it's a really, really awesome form of self-care if you have the time, especially if you're interested in meditation, but you either just like can't get into it, feel like you need to do more, want an added level. I want to add a level to it, or you want an excuse to drink chocolate.
Sure.
There's so many reasons to do it, so many benefits.
I was also going to provide the caveat, obviously, if I could have taken my time, I would have put more thought into making that, but I didn't want this to be a 40-minute video for you guys, so I sped the process up.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna wait for these muffins to be done, and then we'll try the muffins for you to let you know if you should actually make this this recipe or not, if it's not good. And we're gonna hang out with this little guy, and then we will get into the rest of the self-care video. All right, so we put Archer down for a nap, and then we ended up doing a cacao ceremony. I feel pretty good about it. I don't know how you feel. I feel like it went well. And our banana bread muffins are done, so we thought we would try one. These ones, they puffed up really nice. Normally whenever we make banana bread, we have never really successfully made a good vegan banana bread. Like every recipe we ever try never puffs up, and they never cook all the way into the middle. So we thought we would try it because I don't want to like put this link of this recipe down below and then have it not be good. Ooh.
So far so good, not
they
raw.
Look pretty cooked, so that's good. That doesn't normally happen. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
That's good banana bread by any standard.
I do just want to mention for the recipe down below, we used aquafaba instead of a flax egg, so I don't know how that would affect the way they cook or the flavor or anything, but I just wanted to point that out, just so you guys know. But I definitely recommend this recipe, and definitely recommend baking while you're in quarantine, because one, you get to eat dessert all the time, so why would you not want to?
Totally.
And two, it's a really good way to pass the time and do fun stuff together.
Try new things.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Look at his face. I hope this video was informative and wasn't too boring. I have gotten a few questions about cacao ceremonies, so I just wanted to, you know, fill you guys all in, because I think they're really beneficial and they're really, really good to do if you're into that sort of thing. So
if you want to know more, maybe I could like write it down so that I don't ramble and stumble as much if you guys wanted to.
And I can link a few like informative websites and stuff down below too, if you guys were just like, I could not process all of that information. So I always want to repeat what I already said. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.